Alright, welcome back to Meteorology 101. In this video I'm going to talk about just build some weather charts and look at the systems that have been going through and see what we got going on. So visit my website meteorology101.com and get your head in the clouds. Let's start with the surface chart. I'm going to build these from scratch. Downloaded the latest data, and we're going to throw some ISO bars on here, the lines of equal pressure. This is going to identify pressure systems. High pressure off the west coast, looks like low pressure around the Four Corners region. High pressure system over eastern Kentucky, centered over eastern Kentucky. That's the high pressure system that created all that cold air down in Texas, caused all that freezing, ridging all the way into Mexico. It's still got a ridge down through Mexico there. And the low pressure system that moved off to the northeast, it's well off to the northeast now. So it looks like an open low, just mainly troughing. We'll throw some isotherms on here, see what we got. So the low pressure system looks like it's going baroclinic, barotropic, and a little bit of baroclinicity at the trough, pretty much at and behind that trough. So if we expect any weather out of that low pressure system, that troughing, it is troughing all the way back into that high pressure system over New York, Lake Ontario. Winds out of the north. We could see some cold air advection all through this area. So probably a little bit of lake effect snow, some precip through the northeast if we were to see any weather associated with that. We'll pull up a radar here shortly and do a comparison and see what we have. High pressure, still baroclinic. On the east side, cold air advection from the north, winds from the south. On the west side, warm air advection. And associated with that low pressure system being baroclinic, we could go, the troughing to the south, maybe bring a cold front out of that low pressure system, push that back and wrap around this high pressure system off the west coast. The warm front maybe go through the troughing right through Texas. So looks like Texas is getting a break. Let's go find the 0 degree isotherm well to the north. So looks like 10 degrees shooting down through Texas. So anywhere through Texas is going to be 10 degrees or warmer. That's about 50 degrees Celsius. So they're getting warmed up. That's good news for them, but bad news on the other part, where any freezing pipes are going to start to thaw. Any pipes that did crack from that freezing, they're just going to get major flooding and all kind of buildings out there. So this is a highly modified high pressure system. As we've seen before, all the weather that this thing was causing throughout the central United States, we can still probably see some weather around the mountain ranges here that associated even with that high. Center of the high, maybe some clearing. So let's go ahead and let's throw our station plots on here. We'll get a good idea of what the stations are reporting through the U.S. Alright, the winds circulate clockwise around a high pressure system, counterclockwise around the low. So we're seeing winds out of the south. We're getting a little wind shift here. This side of the low, we're going to see winds out of the north. We're getting that shift over here. We're getting actually the southwesterly flow, southeasterly flow, northwesterly flow. So if we look at this closer, we can see our rotation right over that Four Corners area. So we could take that low pressure system out of there and put that over just a little bit to the west. And then we could probably adjust those pressure systems a little bit, those isobars, and then bring our cold front down through just off the west coast, like I said, going wrapping around that high pressure system. And then the baroclinic low, we see the warm air advection from the south, the winds from the south bringing all that warm air up. through Texas and place a little warm front right there. Up in the northeast, a little bit going on. Looks like we got a little bit of ridging coming in, troughing, then some more ridging, a little bit of troughing, then the high pressure system ridging off over the mountain range over the northwest. So a lot going on there. If we were to see anything there, we'd see some troughing off the west coast, onshore flow. I mean, we look at these ceilings right now, where marginal VFR, where the blue is. That's ceilings are between 1,000 and 3,000 feet, or visibility 3 to 5 miles. So we're already seeing some ceilings, some significant moisture, broken cloud, broken to overcast throughout this whole region. So with the onshore flow and the higher elevations, the orographic lift, we could see some cloudiness all through that area, maybe even some precip in that area. Like I said, troughing all the way back into New York. We'll look for some precip over there. So we are looking cloudy with all the warm air advection on the west side of the high being pushed up. Looks like some mist, a little bit of rain, maybe that's snow. I can't hardly tell what that is. My screen's pretty small compared to yours. I got you zoomed in pretty good. Actually, let me go zoom in on that. Yeah, that looks like rain right there. Okay, so that's the surface chart. We'll throw the fronts on there just for the fun of it. Actually, I'm going to save. Let me go and save this chart. Let me label this. And I do like to save my charts, keep them in an archive so I can go back and look at systems as they develop. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and throw the fronts on here also. Actually, I'm going to clear this out and then build this without the highs and lows, because the fronts throw its own highs and lows on there, and that gets pretty crowded. So we're going to throw this away here, and we're going to do the ISO bars with no highs or lows. Then our isotherms, station plots, then our fronts. And these fronts are placed by the computer, so they can get a little out of hand too. So see, they throw lows all across the lee side of the mountains, troughing the high pressure system. They at least put a high pressure in the center, and then it just throw a bunch of highs through there. Let me label this one. I'll save it just because, even though it's a little messy. Okay, so low pressure over the Four Corners area, high pressure over eastern Kentucky, and then high pressure off of the west coast. Low pressure well off to the northeast. So let's go to the 850 and see what we're working with there. I'm going to throw some moisture onto this 850 first. Then we're going to see where all our moisture levels are. This is moisture at 5,000 feet, so we do have moisture over the Great Lakes region, stretching all the way from the around the northeast. Now all of this green over the Atlantic, once the computer system, it pretty much analyzes the data that's available over the United States. Anything over the oceans, there's not enough data, so it kind of extrapolates a lot of stuff, and it can throw a lot more moisture out there than what's actually out there. So let me go with let's go through some pressure. Alright, still got the high pressure off the west coast, onshore flow. Got the ridging up into the Great Lakes region, up ahead of that ridge. Still a lot of moisture over the Gulf. Winds out of the northwest over the Great Lakes region, so like I said, we may be able to see some lake effect snow there. then that low pressure system over to the east. This high pressure system at the 500 or 850 millibar, 5,000 feet, ridging right up through the Midwest, and then the low pressure system is showing closed. Looks like troughing all the way down. That computer's probably just seeing a one station somewhere that's putting a closed low down over Mexico, but that's pretty much troughing all on the lee side of the mountains and pushing all the way through the south. So that's probably a major shortwave. Let's go see what the isotherms are doing. Little baroclinic, so that is a major shortwave trough that supports that low pressure system over the Four Corners area. All right, let's go get some station plots on here. Let me bump up my percentages so I can get most of my plots on the upper levels, and we can see all the areas with the black station plots. That is where all the significant moisture is. Dew point depressions are 5 or less. So let me label this one the 850, and I'll save that one. Okay, so we still got the ridging over the Midwest. We got the troughing on the lee side of the mountains, high pressure off the west coast, and we do have significant moisture in the northeast and in the northwest. We'll go up to the 700. Pull the moisture, and still significant moisture to the northeast, northwest, stretching a little bit more to the east, the Montana and the Dakotas. See what happens for pressures. Now we're really no closed systems. We do still have that troughing on the lee side of the mountains. We have the ridging over the Great Lakes region pushing all the way up into Canada, and then some pretty tight isotherms. We can mainly look at our jet stream. It's starting to get in that area. This is pretty low level still, so we'll go up to the 300 to get a good look at our jet. There are the isotherms. Okay, we got some thermal ridging, troughing. This is still baroclinic over the mountain range, so any of that onshore flow with the baroclinicity in the upper levels, we could probably see some precip over these, over Montana and Wyoming, maybe a little bit over Idaho, stretching down to Utah. Then we get baroclinic or barotropic over the east coast. It gets pretty barotropic in the upper levels. You see some thermal troughing right through the Great Lakes region. So if we were to see any precip, I would say definitely just over that New York area, and then definitely in the northeast. So all right, let me label this one. We are on the 700 millibar chart, and let me save that. All right, so we're going to go to the 500. So we got the ridging over the west coast, troughing still on the lee side of the mountains, ridging over the Great Lakes area, and then that low pressure system well off to the northeast. But we're getting very barotropic on that system. So we go to the 500. Run the moisture. While we're at the 500, we'll go ahead and pull a vorticity chart too. That'll give us areas upper level divergence, any rotation, indications of all that, so we could see what kind of systems we're messing with. Now we got some moisture over the Dakotas, a little bit of moisture there, and then definitely in the northeast, pretty much off of the northeast of Maine, and then all that moisture off the northwest coast. Let me go pull the pressure. Pretty neat to get when you get a low pressure system closed low, and you can follow it all the way up into the upper levels, and then see how that system stacks. Look at your upper fronts, and get some significant where you could track out that significant weather, you can see how these systems are going to last and the strength of those. So we're going pretty barotropic here. We're going baroclinic over the northeast still, onshore flow. Got the ridging, troughing over the east, the lee side of the mountains, ridging over the Great Lakes region, troughing pretty much over New York. And then that low pressure system looks like that's kind of stacking back well to the north. Well in the north, and then significant moisture is all to the north of that. So that's just an upper level trough. Looks like it's got a negative 38 degree isotherm in the middle there. So 34, 36, 38. We got, cold core, low pressure system in the northeast. Well to the northeast. We're troughing down into the, actually that troughing's coming all the way back. But once it gets over the Great Lakes ridge, it's pretty barotropics, and like I said, no significant moisture, so nothing really major to worry about that. Like I said, if you do have any precipitation, you from them lower levels, we'll have we do got a lot of moisture at the lower levels over New York and the northeast. So now this moisture, these dew point depressions are 5 or less right through this area, so we can bring that moisture all the way down almost to the Four Corners region, and then over Nebraska and back up. So that's a more significant moisture than this chart is showing. Let's go ahead and label that and save it. Alright, let's go run a vorticity real quick. So we've seen over the Four Corners region positive vorticity advection over the southwest, stretching up into the lee side of the mountains. That's where that low pressure, that troughing is. Let me throw the vorticity on here to give you a little bit better idea when I'm talking about that advection and why this chart labels, colors that in. So we see the X's, that's positive vorticity. That's indication of upper level divergence. Anything ahead of that is the advection, positive vorticity advection. So that's where it colors that in. And the stronger the advection, the darker the colors. So it's showing positive vorticity advection over Kansas, Colorado, Nebraska, and then well to the southwest over California and Arizona. And then some weak stuff off to the northeast, and a little bit of weak upper level divergence over northern Florida, southern Georgia. So we'll keep an eye on that too. So we've been getting some thunderstorms pushed through there. See if any of that's still the case on our radar. So let me go ahead and label this one. Save it. Okay, that's pretty much it for the 500. Let's go up to the 300, look at the jet stream real quick, and then we'll pull up a radar and see what we got going on there too. So let me go to pull the winds. I want to shade that with the jet stream. I've got jet max pretty much all through the United States. Looks like the long wave ridge through the central United States, troughing over Montana. And with this jet max, it looks like the wind's coming from the north, wrapping around and coming back into that jet max. That's a pretty sharp turn. We'll keep an eye on that area. Over the next few days, we could get a cutoff low. We'll go look at some models possibly in the upper levels too. Let's see what we got if we got some time. See if we end up with a cutoff low. Typically, what you get is with the jet stream making that turn like that, it can't no longer make the turn, so it overshoots that area to the southwest, and then leaves a low pressure system circulating over the Four Corners region. So it can cause some, you can get some minor shortwaves go around that low pressure system, causing some weather right there over the Four Corners area, and just keep on, on and off rain showers, stuff like that. And then you get that low pressure system would just sit there until it fills and just dissipates. But it will move out of the way if there is another major shortwave. Let me throw some pressure on here. If there's a major shortwave that comes along and kicks that low pressure system off, it's called a kicker. If there's a major shortwave comes across, it'll kick that low pressure, and then that low pressure can kick off to the northeast and follow the jet stream, and then cause some significant weather across the United States if it gets kicked out of that region by a major shortwave trough. Doesn't happen real often. It does happen though. Typically, the low pressure system, the cutoff low, would just hang out there over the southwest and just fill and eventually just go away. So we're looking pretty barotropic throughout these regions, throughout the whole United States, really. Now this, another indicator too with this system, the jet stream coming down, making that turn, this jet max pushing out of that trough will begin to fill. So we may not get a cutoff low from this system. If you have a jet max, if this jet max was pushing into that trough, and then that would cause that trough to deepen even further, then it gets too deep where it can't make the turn, and it just cuts it off, and the jet stream maxes come to the north, and then you get that cutoff low. But this one doesn't look like that case. Like I said, we need to look at some models, see what the forecast is on that, but it doesn't look like, that's a pretty sharp turn now, but with the jet max pushing out, that just kind of tells me that trough is going to kind of fill, and just and that it's not going to have to make a sharp turn like that. All right, so 300. Let's go and save that one. Alright, let's go over to a radar. Alright, so running the radar loop, we do have the weather over the northwest. A lot of snow through the higher terrain and higher elevations. Looks like some rain snow mix over southern Nevada. Mainly rain in southern Nevada, but in southern Utah we got a little bit of rain and into some mix, some snowfall. And then up to the northeast, the Great Lakes region, looks like some lake effect snow. And then all through the northeast, where we've seen that lower level moisture, looks like just kind of some scattered snow showers all through that region. We could pull some local radars and get a better idea what's going on. Looks like a little mixture in South Dakota there. So our surface 0 degree temperature line was well to the north. We need to go over and pull a thickness chart. We'll see where that 540 line is. That'll give us an answer on, probably looking like for the height right around this area. Just the 540 line kind of circling around through the Four Corners, maybe around that low pressure system, then to the north into the Dakotas, causing that mixture, and then back over to the northeast. So let's go get a look at that real quick. Let me go back to the surface, and we will pull a thickness. Let me erase that one. I'm going to run a script on this thing. Let me actually, before I do that, let me back this station plots off a little bit, because if I throw 99-100% of the station plots across the surface, we won't be able to see this chart. So alright, let's go ahead and run our thickness. This just takes some about 20-30 seconds or so. Okay, there's the 540 line. It looks like it is going around that low. Like I said, we with the surface plots, we can see this low pressure a little bit further to the west than what it's showing. So it still looks like that 540 line to the north of that, and then pretty much cutting the central U.S. just right in half. Still to the south in North Carolina, so that's still pretty impressive there. That's that cold core low, that tropical air mass to push through, or that Arctic air mass to push through, causing all that cold air down into Texas. Still a 20-degree, in Columbus, 30 degrees in Indiana, 33 degrees, 32 down in maybe San Antonio, and then 48 in Dallas Fort Worth. So they did almost hit 50. Well, this is a later chart too, so they probably did hit 50 today. So that's, like I said, good news and bad news on that one. Alright, so if you look at these thickness lines, we pretty much see that jet stream coming in, pushing from the north to the south, and then back around, and then just kind of going. So we've seen that little that jet max going all the way across the United States. So this does verify the position of the jet. So what causes a jet stream is the north to south temperature gradient. So as the temperatures from the north are cold and become warmer as you move south, that gradient is what causes the jet stream. It's cold air, dense air, pushing into warm, moist air, or just warmer air. So you get that temperature difference between the north and the south. That's where your jet stream forms. Let me label this thing and got my logo all covered up here, but that's alright. Let me go ahead and save that one. Okay. Alright, let's go pull some models. We can still need, let's go pull a couple other things real quick. Hold on, let's go run. Let's see, what do we got here? We can run precipitable water. That's going to tell us if it rains, how much water we should expect, and then any of them areas with snow, you can go a 10-to-1 ratio and determine how much snow you're going to get. So our precipitable water is pretty uniform throughout the U.S. In the Northeast, 0.1 to 0.2, so 1 to 2 inches. So in the Northeast, any of that snow, and then over the mountain ranges, 0.2 to 0.3, so 2 to 3 inches there. If it got a little bit heavier, you could double that, 4 to 6. So that just gives you an idea of, how much rainfall you would get if you had rainfall in any of these areas. Let me go ahead and save that one. Alright, let's run the we can run the frontogenesis, show us where the frontal systems are and if they're going to intensify or not. Let me go find that one. Alright, now I like to throw the isobars on here. So you see this where all the darker blue is, anywhere there's a front coming through with the darker blue, those systems are expected to intensify, and that's based on the basically the vorticity advection that we've seen on the 500 millibar. Let me label that one. Save it. Alright, and what else do we have? We run a low level wind shear well to the north. A little bit of wind shear in the low levels. Pretty much where that jet max is pushing through. But this is a low levels, so we'll go to the mid levels in a second. Let me go save this one. Alright, let's run a mid level shear. See what happens. Alright, definitely where that jet stream is. You can see all the mid level shear. That jet stream's coming down into the mid levels. So you can see the troughing over the west coast, over those western states. If that trough was to deepen, you'd get that cutoff low. But in this case, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's making that turn just fine. I believe that jet max is pushing out, and that trough is going to fill. So we don't have to worry about a cutoff low. Let me go save this chart. And let's go run. Let's see what else we have. Let's run a wind chart. Let's run the this is like, it's called a wind chill chart, but it's more like temperatures. Shows you where that 32-degree line is for our freezing line. Like I said, that's moved well to the north. So even north of Texas is 40, 45 through the Panhandle, and then 50 through getting through just south of Dallas, and then in the 60s in the southern part of Texas. So definitely an improvement on that. But like I said, if any frozen lines are going to start to thaw out, they're going to be flooding buildings, warehouses, anywhere water lines froze up and had a potential crack. So save that one. That's a wind. I call it a wind chart, just wind chill or wind chart. And more like a temperature chart. Anywhere where that 32-degree line was, anything to the north of that, if there are winds, you're going to have a wind chill. Now there is a wind chill chart that tells you if based on the wind speed and your temperature, how cold it would feel outside. So let me go one more chart, then we can get over to some models. Let me run the, this is usually for severe weather. It does a pretty good job on like potential severe thunderstorms, stuff like that, positions of that. And I just use it this time of year mainly just for practice, and then for any areas of instability. So like over Florida, like I said, we'll keep an eye on over that northern part of Florida. We were getting some thunderstorms, nothing significant there. But over Nebraska, it looks like if there were any thunderstorms to happen, you could have a potential of severe thunderstorms there. So just a slight chance. I just like to keep an eye on these charts and see what's happening in those regions, and then any significant weather that pops up. We've seen that vorticity in Nebraska. We've seen some upper level moisture in that area from the charts. So there could be a potential of some snowfall if it was north of that 32 line, the 540 line, I think it is. So could get a little bit of the heavier precipitation in these areas. Alright, let's go over to Tropical Tidbits. We're going to pull this one and run through these models. See what we got. So we do have the high pressure over West Virginia. This is valid 06Z on Sunday. And a low pressure showing a low pressure system over the panhandle of Oklahoma. Some snowfall over Colorado. Look at the radar again to verify that one. Let me see, pull you up here. Yeah, definitely there. So it's verifying pretty good. Let's look at the northeast. And snowfall a little further off the coast, but this is for 06Z, so it's about 1 o'clock in the morning. So we're not quite there yet. It's about an hour and a half ahead, so it is a forecast chart, so 6-hour forecast chart, but it's only an hour and a half till it hits that time. Alright, so let's go ahead and forward through this and see what we got. Let me go liven this thing up. Alright, looks like that low pressure system over the panhandle of Florida, Oklahoma, pushes up to the northeast through Kansas, Missouri. Looks like some rain in Kansas and Missouri, and then snow through Iowa. So Iowa's been it's been quiet for Iowa this year. Not a lot of people talking about it, but Iowa's been getting quite a significant snowfall. So then the snow staying well to the north. That low pressure system pushing up through the Great Lakes region right over Lake Michigan there, and then looks like snowfall over northern Illinois, Chicago area, and Wisconsin. Then over the Great Lakes region, looks like rain for mostly Indiana, southern Ohio, maybe some very northern parts of Ohio getting some snowfall. Pennsylvania getting into the snowfall. Pushing all the way over through Pennsylvania, and then becoming rain, and rain well to the south over the mountain range, and then pushing off the east coast. And then starting to get a little convective off the east coast. So now another all that onshore flow we were looking at over the northwest looks like some pretty heavy rain showers over Washington, and then the higher elevations, a little bit of snowfall, and then we're pushing into a little bit deeper into the higher elevations over Idaho, Montana, and getting some snowfall over there. So now let's look at this getting convective off the southeast coast. Snow well to the north. Looks like a little bit of snowfall through the North Dakota into Montana and Wisconsin, and then back over the Great Lakes region, picking up a little bit as far as a little bit heavier intensity. And then all of a sudden we're just pushing through. Looks like a trough pushing through to the south over the Ohio Valley. A little bit more rainfall, and that is on Wednesday evening. So Colorado getting some more snowfall overnight, Wednesday into Thursday. That dropping south with looks like a high pressure system into the panhandle of Texas, and significant rainfall building up over southeast Texas. Still, the 540 line did drop a little bit further south all the way into northern Texas, but nothing significant for any snowfall in that area. Still an onshore flow to the northwest, and snow in the higher elevations, and rain along the west coast. So now that system, it looks like something developing over the east coast of Texas. Mainly it's just looks like that frontal system just pushing through. Looks like it's a frontal system that pushes all the way from, it's hard to tell in this chart, or it's just a major short wave pushing through all the way through the panhandle of Florida. and then through the mountain range with the lift, the orographic lift causing just rain through the mountains, and then all the way down to the Gulf Coast. Look like a low pressure right there over the Gulf, and then this just kind of fills and goes away. Low pressure system over Canada to the north, significant snowfall all through Canada, and then causing, looks like a little bit of snowfall over Wisconsin. Let's see here. Coming down into Minnesota and then Wisconsin. Still to the northeast, we still have that. Looks like just through those higher elevations, just constant scattered snow showers. And then looks like a lee side trough or something starting up. Causing some snowfall all the way through Nebraska, mixture into northern Colorado, or that's Kansas. Low pressure system over the Four Corners. Now that might be something to keep an eye on. Let's see, this is a little far out. Let's see, 162 hour 18Z, February 27th on a Saturday. So about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Now that low pressure system could have been a cutoff low that formed over the Four Corners area, and still Colorado getting some significant snowfall. Now we have a high pressure system over Canada getting ready to push south. That stays well to the north, it looks like, and then do have that ridging cold air coming through Nebraska with some mixture over Kansas, pushing into Missouri. Mostly rainfall through Missouri to St. Louis area, all the way to the south, and then rainfall all the way over Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, and northern Alabama, even all the way down into Louisiana. So looks like that low pressure system, that one I seen over the Gulf, went back a little bit there, kind of reforming off of the east coast and then pushing to the northeast, and then that thing deepening pretty good and becoming real convective off the east coast. Maybe a little bit of wraparound moisture off that low pressure system into southeast Virginia and northern North Carolina, northeast North Carolina. We're back where we were with the high pressure system pushing to the south. We're getting that mixture over Nebraska and then pushing into the northeast part of Missouri. And then looks like a little bit of that mixture coming down a little bit further south. Low pressure system drops to the south and then starts pushing to the northeast over Little Rock. And then scattered snow showers all through the Great Lakes region, reaching all the way down into Michigan. Still staying well to the north. The mixture line from the Great Lakes region into central Illinois, all the way through central Missouri, and all the way down into Oklahoma. So that cold air is going to push south again. Not as far south as it was. It looks like maybe the northern part of the Texas Panhandle might get some snow, but Kansas is getting hit the most, and then looks like we're not over for the snowfall in Missouri. Looks like the whole state's covered. This is Tuesday 0Z, so that's Monday evening at Eastern time, about 7 o'clock, so it'll be about 6 o'clock Central time. And then significant mixture, icing, stuff going on in central Illinois, Indiana, northern Ohio. Looks like for the Ohio Valley it all stays rain. Then that low pressure system pushing to the northeast. Looks like some convection in southern Ohio, northern Kentucky, and then we're getting pushed through with some snowfall on that wraparound moisture, that cold air. Try to find this high pressure center. It looks like that's well to the south. Let me see. Let's back this up a minute. The high pressure dropping down. Looks like it's breaking off right over Colorado. Breaks off, drops to the south over Texas. Looks like maybe some ridging down into Texas, but the plateau high just hanging out in the north over the west coast there. But now we got that high pressure system that looks like it just pops right back up over Texas. I can't pull any scooties here to see what those surface temps are. We'll go on to pivotal weather and see what we got over there. But we're pretty far out. I mean, we are 240 hours out, 0Z Wednesday, March 3rd. So that low pressure system pushes through. That's a pretty significant pattern going on there. We'll have to keep an eye on that. What we'll do on that system, we'll pull these charts and analyze that to the upper levels. That'll be a good system to learn on. Show you the stack and get a good idea how these weather systems work. So that's coming out of the Four Corners area, dropping to the south over Texas and pushing to the northeast over the Ohio Valley. So we'll keep an eye on that one. That's from March 2nd all the way into March 3rd. We're pushing off to the northeast, and then some significant snowfall all the way through the Great Lakes region, through New York, and then all the way up into Maine. So like I said, that's still pretty far out. That's a well-developed system. You can see the troughing off the east coast. So that cold front's going to be off the east coast at that time. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. Let's go back. Let's go over to the pivotal weather. Let's get a good visual on this system, on that system over here. And then maybe we could pull some of these forecast Scooty charts and see what kind of surface temps we're working with. Let me make sure I'm live here. Get some time. Make sure you can see the date and see what we got here. Okay, so that low pressure system over the Four Corners region, this initializes that over Colorado. Like we said, that was a little bit more to the west. Looks like snow over Colorado, so with some wraparound on that low, so that's pretty accurate for the precip. Then the high pressure system, this is centered over West Virginia. 540 line wall to the north. We get into snowfall into Colorado, and then to the north up into the higher elevations. Still got the onshore flow over the west coast. That low pressure system pushing off, it actually becomes pretty well developed and causing some snowfall through Nebraska and Iowa. Then continues to push to the northeast and goes a little more easterly through the Great Lakes region. Okay, so snowfall's not over for Iowa, that's for sure. The northern Illinois and through the Great Lakes, northern Indiana and Ohio. And then everything else on what is this one? Monday 03Z. This would be Sunday evening, late Sunday evening, the 22nd. And then there'll be the 21st actually for Sunday evening local time. And then that'll be rainfall throughout Indiana, Ohio, through the Ohio Valley region. You see the front pushing to the over the mountain range. Getting a little convective over western North Carolina, and then all the way down into the Gulf. So that then we have that high pressure system over the over Colorado. It just kind of pushed way to the south. That one still has us down in Texas. All right, let's see what we're working with on temperatures of 56 degrees on the surface, so still staying pretty warm for Texas. All right, let me get back to Alright, got that frontal system moving off the east coast, low pressure to the north over Canada, and Still got those scattered rain showers or snow showers over the northwest. That was a pretty consistent pattern throughout the weeks coming. And then we got another low pressure system that just forms over the Dakotas and drops down over Wisconsin. Great Lakes region pushes over and then shoots to the northeast. And that's just bringing, looks like snow through Wisconsin, some through Minnesota, North Dakota, Minnesota, Great Lakes region, and then rain through northern half of Indiana, and then back into the Ohio Valley region. So looks like we got some significant convection maybe from the looks like maybe a major shortwave over the northeast, and some snowfall over British Columbia through Washington, all the way down into Oregon. Then that low pressure system in the northeast just continues to push off. Looks like some minor showers over southern Texas. Then the high pressure system looks like that's just dropping to the south. Actually, it centers over Illinois and then pushes off to the northeast. Still scattered snow showers over the northwest. Then it looks like we got a short wave that developed over the looks like some warm air advection. There's that low pressure system that developed over Colorado. Warm air advection off the coast, pushing up into Arkansas. Looks like maybe there's some convection there, along with a mix line to the west over Missouri into Kansas. Then that low pressure system pretty much becomes pretty well developed, and then we got that snowfall in northern Missouri and Michigan. And then the low pressure system starts pushing off to the northeast, and the cold front pushing through the Ohio Valley region, stretching all the way down to the Gulf Coast. Now, if this is any indication, we've got the mix lines, that cold air advection behind that low pressure system behind that front, and some pretty significant rainfall through Kentucky and Tennessee, stretching even all the way down into Mississippi. Still a frozen line, mixture line coming through the Ohio Valley region. Snow well to the north, and even snowfall through the mountain range, and then on the east side of the mountains, pushing even all the way to North Carolina. If that plays out like that, I think we'll be lucky if that happens. But like that cold air, high pressure system, it's kind of just pushing to the east, then kind of goes to the northeast. So let's back this up a little bit. Low pressure system shooting off to the northeast. Let's get that over the Ohio Valley region. There's where we need to keep an eye on that thing, and we'll break that system down when it comes. That's on the 28th at 21Z. It's right there at about 1600 local time for the Ohio Valley. So pushing off to the northeast and getting some really not like, I don't know how much snowfall would have to say on that one. So light snow, just maybe some flurries, maybe a dusting over the Ohio Valley. I'd be more concerned with the mixing area there with the icing. Maybe get a good little coat of icing there, and that's pushing all the way down into Tennessee. And then we get some snowfall right behind that. Now showing some pretty significant heavier snow, maybe some moderate snowfall from eastern Ohio all the way down into Alabama, catching the east side of Mississippi. Even just some snowfall in central Mississippi right there, and then the icing coming all the way down into northern Alabama. So that mixture line, that cold air mass, there's another high pressure shoots down from the north. That is another significant high that's going to drop those temperatures. Let's see what we got. There's another high pressure system to the south over Texas. That's pretty warm area though. That's not going to be nothing for them to be concerned about. This high pressure system pushing to the southeast over Illinois. Let's go. Let's back it up right there. Let's see where our center is and get an idea on that center of that high. What our temperatures are going to be there. So that's about 12 degrees. So we're not done with the cold. Alright, so pushing to the south a little bit over Indiana, then over the Ohio Valley region, and then pushing back to the northeast. Let's see what we're looking at for Ohio. Right there behind that high. Southern Ohio. Surface temps of 20 degrees. Still a hard freeze. Still a little chilly out there. Alright, then that pushes off. And it looks like another low pressure system over the Four Corners area, but that kind of just falls apart. The plateau high over the western United States. I mean, we're pretty far out here. This is 288 hours. High pressure just hanging out. This low pressure just pops up over that west coast, and then it starts pushing north. And now pretty much ends there. The models end right there. We got a low pressure system. Lands over eastern Iowa into Montana. So be another system we have to keep an eye on. Looks like a pretty deep low, 1,002 millibars, but got that wraparound moisture and maybe a little occlusion going on, wrapping around pretty good, and then that frontal system dropping all the way down to the east coast of Texas, and then some more snowfall over the Dakotas, and then just our typical upper elevations getting all that snow showers over the northwest. Like I said, this is a 997, 991, 990, 988, 985. So 985 is our deepest part of that low, and now we got some pretty good wraparound right there with the mixture over South Dakota, Wyoming, some pretty significant snowfall, and pretty deep low pressure system. So we'll keep an eye on that one and then see how it develops as it pushes through. It looks like it pushes to the north, but we'll have to see what that jet stream is, and this it could drag it a little bit more easterly. So alright, that's pretty much that. Let's go pull up a couple local radars, see what we got going on over here. This is Buffalo. Maybe some lake effect snow. Just saying that low pressure system to the north, well to the northeast, and got the winds coming out of the north with that high pressure system. I would expect some lake effect snow over New York. Like I said, any precipitation I would expect over New York with that troughing that was pushing all the way back through that area. Now let's go shoot on down, see what if we got anything else. Dayton, Ohio, Indiana. Nothing going on in Ohio. We had some stuff to the northwest. Let's get over here to Chicago area. A little bit of light snow showers. Northern Illinois. Central Illinois. That might be just a lot of clutter right around that radar. Maybe a little bit of isolated showers through Wisconsin, northern Iowa. Like I said, Iowa's not getting any news press here lately. They've been getting hammered with snow. Here was our mixture line. That's up in Nebraska, northeast Nebraska, stretching down through central Nebraska. Straight over to the west, lee side of the mountains, Wyoming. Pretty significant snowfall through northeast Wyoming there. Scattered light stuff lee side of the mountains. The higher elevations getting some light to moderate snow. Let's go up to the northwest. Just seeing all that scattered stuff through the mountain ranges. The higher elevations, just orographic lift and let's see, Washington, a little bit of mixture there. And then in the northwest, now we got that onshore flow, rain showers. Pull up this radar, see what we got. There we go. There's the rain showers off the west coast. Washington's notorious rainy weather. A little bit of snowfall with that onshore flow, orographic lift, and pushing through. Download this loop. That's what I was trying to get to here. Alright. That's filling in pretty good. And then just as this snow just kind of hangs out in one area, you could tell it's probably just a little bit of the mountain range there just pushing as that pushes up into that colder temperatures, falling as snow. So okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here, and I want to say thanks for watching. Please subscribe, share, and like this video, and see you next time.